Are you wondering what 2025 holds for Kansas City and the real estate market? Yes, I am. Let's discuss exciting new developments happening right now, and we're going to give you our 5 predictions for the market this year. And the 5th one, it's kind of bold. We're breaking down what's ahead for buyers, for sellers, and investors right here in the heartland, the Midwest, Kansas City. So stay tuned to get the inside scoop and stay ahead of the game.
Oh yeah. Hey, I'm Max Jones. This is Zach Morton. We are the Mojo Real Estate Team, and we have been helping thousands of people for over 20 years. Investors and families move to the Kansas City area, invest in the area, and we love it. Today we are going to be breaking down the changes, kind of a market forecast on the shifts and the changes that we see in the Kansas City market. So give you a little prediction for the next year ahead, maybe the next 24 months.
So if you're moving to Kansas City or the Kansas City real estate market is on your radar, then this video is for you. We've done all the research and our day-to-day lives living in the real estate business. We're here to share that with you right now.
Heck yeah.
I think it's important before we dive into our future and the predictions just to take a quick look, kind of a recap of what last year's fourth quarter numbers just came out. So let's take a 1 minute to review that, and then we'll dive into some predictions.
Yeah. The 2024 Q4 market report just came out. So let's see where we've been, and that'll help us decide where we're going. Yeah, so you'll see here on the screen that we've got every county in the KCRER, but we're going to highlight just the 4 counties that are kind of the Kansas City metro area, the ones that we,
most people are moving to, that we find that are coming to Kansas City from out of state. Johnson County, we've got Clay County, we've got Jackson County, and Platte County, kind of the main counties in Kansas City.
Yes, sir.
Kansas and Missouri, so we got it all here.
Yes, sir. So let's start with Johnson County over in Kansas, probably one of Kansas City's most premier counties, in which you got Overland Park and Olathe and Lenexa and Shawnee. All of those cities are in Johnson County. And it looks like we've got a median sales price of $440,000, which is up 1.7%. Average sales price of $527,000.
Yeah, that's down just a little bit, 0.4%. And this is year over year. So this is, 2024 end of year. And then it looks like our days on market were 38 days on market, which has ticked up just a little bit.
Yep.
But our closed sales are actually up 16%.
Yeah, so what we saw in 2023 is the number of sales, the velocity in the market. Usually that's not the market that you as a home buyer really care about. Buyers and sellers care more about the price, but real estate agents care about the number of sales. And they were down quite a bit in 2023, but they've ticked back up 16% in Johnson County in 2024.
Yeah, so things are happening. Things are moving. We've got next on the list here, we've got Clay County. This is on the Missouri side. We've got the average price was up 5.7%, almost 6%, at $372,000. We have days on market at 44 days, which is up 7%. And then we have our year over year, the closed sales is also up 16%. So it's kind of following Johnson County there.
Wow. Yeah, I will say that on our real estate team, our average day on market is closer to 9 to 12 days. It's right in that range for the year. But for the whole for the whole county, it's averaging 44 days.
Yeah. All right. Then we'll go down to Jackson County. This is on the Missouri side and includes some of the Kansas City. And we are, average sales price at $315,000, which is up 8.8%. We are 40 days on the market, which is also up 14%. So slowed down just a little bit there, but the closed sales is up 6%. So just a little bit longer to get it done, but there's more sales happening. And prices are up.
Yeah, so Jackson County, you've got a lot of Lee Summit and Blue Springs. Independence is, Raytown makes up a lot of Jackson County. That's where the Kansas City sports stadiums are. So there are some lower price points in Jackson County and some, really upper end price points. So it kind of runs the gamut.
Yeah.
I think that might be Kansas City's largest county.
Yeah, it probably is. Yeah, because it's definitely in Kansas City on the south side. So, yeah. All right, and then bouncing back up north of the river here on the Missouri side, we have Platte County with a average sales price at $433,000, which is up 1.3%. So across the board, I mean, everybody's moved up on prices here year over year. And then we've got 44 days on market, which came down just a little bit. And our number of sales is up almost 5%. So across the board, everything is moving in a positive direction as far as a healthy market.
Yep. Yeah, definitely a decent little recap of 2024, really a healthy real estate market. We've seen some inventory return to the market. I think that's reflective in the average days on market. In 2022 and 23, we were seeing very few days on market because the inventory levels were just sparse.
Yeah. And you know what? When 2024 started on the real estate side of things, I mean, that's when our rates were kind of like, we're still just getting used to that. It was kind of like, oh man, this is frustrating. Everybody was kind of frustrated. But it's good to see the end of the year, everything kind of shaped out just fine and picked up. And in fact, I don't know if this is a precursor to what's to come, but the Mojo real estate team, we're having our best January ever as far as pending volume right now. And I've talked to, we have lots of lender connections and friends that we work with in the business too. And several of them are off to their best Januaries ever too. So
heck yeah.
Maybe a forecast of things to come in Kansas City.
Yep, I think that does bode well for our forecast, and which we've done some research right here as far as the future is concerned. And the data shows that we have seen growth in all cash buyers, multi-generational purchases, and single buyers. So, a lot of I think the people that have been renting are starting to go ahead and make their purchases. And, homeowners are on the selling side, homeowners are feeling a lot richer because of the rapidly rising prices. So a lot of people are flush with equity. If they do decide to make a move, they've got a lot of equity to work with from their sale of their house for their purchase. So we've had the elections, and usually what we do see after any election, no matter who wins, we see a rise in sale prices.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why we're having our best January.
Yeah, that absolutely could be. And when Trump was up there giving his speech, he did also talk about how one of his main initiatives was to kind of fight inflation, which maybe that's not great for rates, because one way that they do that is they keep rates higher. So we'll kind of see how that plays out.
At his inauguration?
Yes, good word.
Yeah, so now that we do know who has won the election, it does remove some uncertainty, and usually the uncertainty in the market isn't good anyway. So yeah. I think removing that, if there's a good forecast as far as certainty goes of what direction we're all headed in. Which brings us to our number one prediction, our first prediction. First prediction is,
hey, housing sales are gonna go up.
The number of sales are going up. They went up last year.
Yeah.
But really, 2023 and 24 were both difficult years. And we think that the worst is over, and that the number of sales, the velocity in the market is going to really pick up.
Yeah, and we found in our research, since 1995, the population has grown by 70 million people. However, over the last 2 years, we've kind of seen our real estate sales around those 1995 numbers. So we believe that points to there is a lot of pent-up demand.
Yeah, there's been a ton of pent-up demand in the market. I mean, we've seen people that have 2.5%, 3% interest rates, which are historic lows. I mean, 100-year lows, that they don't want to give that up. They don't want to move to a 7% interest rate. Maybe they have a 3-bedroom house and they have 5 kids and then bursting at the seams, but for them, it's not worth it to go try and find a 4-bedroom home because of that change in their monthly payment, because primarily just the difference in interest. But they do have a lot of equity to deal with. So, really their loan amount isn't that bad because of the amount of equity that they have. So yeah, that's the number one projection. I think that the number of sales we will see go up by 9% on existing homes and closer to 11% on new construction. I believe that a lot of the new construction home builders, especially in the Kansas City market, I don't know if we've ever mentioned it on the channel, but the Kansas City market is a great place for home builders. A lot of markets have big national builders that dominate the market. Maybe 2-3 builders will dominate. In Kansas City, we're known for like 50 custom home builders that are more mom and pop, smaller builders. Maybe they build 25 to 30 homes a year. So it's a great place for new construction. There has been a little bit of hesitancy because of the market conditions and then because of some of the regulations to build new homes. And I think we're going to see some of that shake loose.
Yeah, in fact, next week we're sitting down with the state representative of Missouri to kind of talk about some of that. So we're excited for that interview.
Yeah, stay tuned for that video. He's an expert on the Kansas City market, and there are some new bills that are being introduced. We're going to tell you all about it next week. So that pretty much covers our first prediction.
Yep.
So we move on to number 2.
Yeah, what's number 2? What do we got over there?
Number 2 prediction, we feel like the mortgage rates are going to moderate. There are some scenarios where they could drop a little quicker, but I do think that they're going to moderate and come down, settle in around the 6% range. Currently, we're about 7. I think they're going to, the bond market is going to react to what the Fed's been doing. The Fed's already made a couple cuts. I think they're going to be cutting every quarter this year.
And hopefully that'll translate a little bit to the housing interest rate.
So people, it's kind of confusing. People will say, oh, the Fed cut rates today, and then they're watching for mortgage rates to come down. They don't actually, it doesn't actually work like that. They don't work in tandem. The mortgage rate is based on bonds, and currently there has been a little forecast for inflation to continue. And so the bond market has been hesitant to respond. But I do think that, if the budget deficit starts to come down, then we could see the mortgage rates come down.
That, and then if energy prices come down as well, that could also affect rates. So those are kind of the 2 scenarios that we are predicting. If those happen, rates may come down a little faster or may get a little lower. But for the most part, I think, what we're seeing, it's going to be floating between 6 and 7% this year.
Yeah. And there's also a yield spread. So from the Fed funds rate, then you have a spread from where the mortgage rates are. And that yield spread is historically higher than it usually is. So I think there's room for the rates to float down to that historic average of yield spread, even without the Fed rates coming down. So we do believe that they're going to moderate, probably not change dramatically, but it's going to get a little better over the course of 25 and 26. All right, prediction number 3. Let's do it. All right, what is it? Jobs are going to increase nationwide. We're expecting about 2 million jobs in 2025, 2 million jobs in 26. I think a lot of the policies with tariffs are trying to bring jobs back to the United States. And, that's nationally, but jobs are going up in Kansas City too.
Yeah, as part of that, we've got all these things happening, all this new development in Kansas City as far as commercial space. We've got like the DeSoto battery plant. There's over $4 billion, all kinds of construction going over there in DeSoto on the southwest side of Kansas City. We've got the new soccer stadium that they just put in, the all-girls soccer stadium, the first one in the country. What else we got going on? Facebook's coming to town.
Yeah.
Google's building a data center here.
Amazon's doing distribution centers. We've got the South Loop, which is a really cool project. A lot of construction jobs. But the South Loop project is, they're going to build a park over a highway that goes right through the center of downtown by the crossroads. That's going to be really cool when that gets done. But in the meantime, tons of jobs for folks.
Yeah, and they're expanding the streetcar. So just all kinds of cool stuff happening in Kansas City, bringing in lots of people, lots of jobs, and lots of expansion.
I bet those people are going to need houses.
Probably so.
It's not a prediction.
Yeah, but maybe 9% more if it'll be when we gave them last year.
Yeah, so job increases are going to be taking place nationally, and I think even more so as a percentage in Kansas City because we are a growing city.
Yeah, and what we see a lot of, we've got people all the time coming in, like from Florida, just got hit by the hurricane, and then we've kind of had this influx of people from Florida that are just kind of tired of messing with that. They're getting priced out on insurance or just uninsurable after stuff like that happens, which is horrible, but we're seeing people come from that. We've got people that are tired of California prices, tired of the West Coast. Get expensive and kind of priced out there as well. And what's great about, since COVID, everybody learned how to work from home. Kansas City offers a ton of value, especially in the real estate market. So we're seeing a lot of work from home people that are coming this way.
Yep, for sure. Should we talk about prediction number 4?
Let's do it.
Number 4. Home prices are going to go up. I don't think they're going to go up dramatically, but they have done that over the past couple years, and some people are. We hear this all the time from folks, from you guys actually, on our initial consultations when you guys reach out to us. A lot of folks are saying, "Hey, Kansas City is kind of a trendy market, and is the market going to soften? Should we wait? Should we buy a more of a stepping stone house before we buy our forever home?" And to you folks, we are saying no. Actually, prices are going to continue to go up. I think we're going to see them rise nationally by 2%, but in Kansas City, I think we're going to outpace that. We're expecting more to like 3 to 4% growth in prices in 2025. So prices are going to continue to go up because it's really a matter of supply and demand.
Yeah. Kansas City isn't like that trendy city like you see all these people, like, I don't know, Texas kind of gets that vibe, like Austin sometimes. But a lot of people come here, they stay here, they don't move around a lot. When I lived out on the West Coast for 3 years, like my whole it was super transient in Oregon. People were moving in, moving out, doing all kinds of weird stuff, coming from all over. Hardly anybody's from there. But people in Kansas City tend to stay put. It's not, and we also tend to ride out the, we don't have the huge, massive gains like you'll see on the West Coast, East Coast, and some of the warmer states to the south. But we just have steady appreciation. And I think, even when the bottom falls out, which it did like in 2008 and some of the crazy, weird scenarios, it wasn't that bad here in the Midwest.
Yeah, we saw, back in 2009, I remember Arizona was decimated. Parts of Colorado that are really popular were hit hard. California, Florida, destination places got really overheated. Kansas City really didn't get overheated and therefore didn't tank as bad as some of the other areas. With that being said, I think, you already mentioned it, but the work from home movement after COVID has really changed the game, because people in more expensive markets, you don't have to live in Silicon Valley to hop on your computer anymore and have a tech job. You can live in a less expensive market. If you have talent, you can live anywhere. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people are choosing Kansas City because of the value. You can really get a lot of bang for your buck in our city. So I think we are going to outpace the rise in homes nationally. But I think all across the board, we are short 2 million homes across the whole United States. And until we are able to replace that inventory, which it's really tough to do because of inflation, you can't build starter homes anymore. You can't build a home for $250,000 for people to buy. So there's going to be a shortage of that. We are seeing a lot of apartments being built. In fact, we have a video coming up about the Panasonic plant in DeSoto. Stay tuned for that and check it out. But what we're seeing is there are a lot of apartment complexes being built out there and around Kansas City to fill the demand for the shortage of housing. So interesting study that as it stands, the net worth of a homeowner versus the net worth of a renter. I mean, just before we tell you the numbers, just think about that. I wonder what the net worth difference is from a homeowner. So a homeowner is $415,000 net worth on average, and a renter's net worth, $10,000. So you really, the being invested in real estate, what it can do to your net worth is just insane. So, you may be able to get into an affordable housing situation by renting, but it is not great for your long-term net worth strategy. 45 times the net worth from a homeowner to a renter.
That makes a big difference. Yeah, that's a very powerful number right there. It's statistic. Wow.
Yeah, so some people will say, hey, Max, we want to move to the area and, we're thinking about renting for a year or two and get the lay of the land. And that really does kind of make sense, because you don't want to move to a community and end up in the wrong spot. But it could be a big mistake, because the way housing prices are going up, you kind of miss the boat. And that's really why we developed this channel, is to, so you guys can do your homework, so you can do your research. You can, we've got 150 videos or so where you can check out every community. And then once you've watched all the videos, you can reach out to us and, talk about what's important to you, ask us specific questions about schools or whatever you're into. And yeah, really help you make a decision where you don't have to move to the area and rent for a couple years.
Yeah, and even if that still makes you a little nervous, we have this love it or we'll sell it for free in the first 12 months. So if you do move into that, I mean, I don't think we've had to exercise that maybe more than one time, if that, but if you do move into a neighborhood and you did like, oh man, I made a horrible choice, we will put that back on the market for you free of charge on the listing side and help you get that sold so you can find the right place. So we feel really confident that after we have that conversation, learn about what your goals are for you and your family, that we can really get you in that spot that you're gonna love to call home. I don't know any other real estate team that offers that. So yeah, we believe it.
All right, it's time to get bold.
Let's get our bold prediction out there.
Number 5. Our bold prediction is that people like you are going to adjust to the new reality. And that doesn't sound very bold necessarily, but it really is, because we think that there is a ton of pent-up demand and it's going to start to crack loose. Yeah, it's going to break.
Yeah, we've got some amazing numbers here. There's over 3.5 million new babies being born every year. There's 1.5 million new marriages every year. There is 700,000 divorces every year. We've got
3.5 million people turning 65.
Yep, and 25 million job changes, not to mention all the new jobs that are being created in Kansas City. So all that means change, change, change. And those are all reasons that people have to move. So a lot of those people sitting on that 2 or 3% rate that we always talk about and always hear about, they're just gonna have to move on. It happens.
Yeah, they're selling their houses, they're paying off those low interest rate mortgages, and they're going out and getting a new mortgage, and they're adjusting to the new reality because they can't put their life on hold any longer. They've been putting it on hold for 2 years, and there's been a buildup of pent-up demand, and we believe that the pent-up demand is going to break loose, and people are going to just move on with their lives.
Yeah, and as part of that, that could blow all of our predictions, skew them up a little bit. So that's kind of what makes it bold, is all those numbers we just gave you about our predictions could be skewed in the upward, into the right direction, if this all kind of falls in place.
Yeah, I'd say overall our 5 predictions, well, the first 4 have been fairly conservative, but the 5th one being bold is we think that this could shift to the high side, and a lot of pent-up demand is going to break loose.
Yeah. People will continue to talk about the good old days. We'll probably sit around the campfire and be like, oh man, that was great. But hey, buyers are going to keep buying, sellers are going to keep selling, and we're adjusting to our new reality between 6 and 7% to get on with life.
Yes, sir.
Well, hey, we really appreciate you guys sticking around and watching this. Definitely stay tuned for an interview with State Representative next week. Reach out anytime if there's anything, any questions, but remember to subscribe so you can catch that next video, and we'll see you on the next one.
We'll catch you later.
Thanks for watching.